the gun, and then we'll go.
We'll never surrender.
Skin boots on a Saturday night.
Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here and welcome back to an all new DLC for Revelations video, and today we're going to be doing a full breakdown of all of the gameplay that we got released yesterday for the DLC for Revelations gameplay trailer. Now I'm going to be trying to make this as in depth and as precise as possible, and I know this is obviously a day late, but I wanted to give me time for me to gather all the correct information and make sure that I can pinpoint as much information as possible from this gameplay trailer. I just need to apologize again for my voice. I'm currently sick, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds a bit off, but with all that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. So jumping straight into the gameplay, it starts off saying the day of reckoning is here. Now from this we can assume that this is the final day, the final apocalyptic day. This map is called Revelations for a reason, and it seems to be based off of the Bible, Revelations, the final chapter. This truly is going to be the final leap in terms of our origin storyline, although I don't think it will be the end to the storyline as a whole. Dr. Monty seems to be some sort of god-like figure, and he's created this world, this perfect world, which has obviously now been corrupted by the Shadow Man, and the characters have collected their 1.0 souls so that the children are safe in the house. But as we jump straight into the trailer, we see the summoning key symbol, and then we see a really nice shot of the house, which seems like it's going to be the spawn area, as there is quick revive right at the base of the house. And obviously in the intro cutscene, Dr. Monty locked us out of the house, so it would be logical for us to start this map playing in the house. And then obviously we see all of the rocks floating about, obviously because we literally are in space right now, floating. And obviously there's a lot of influence from Element 115. Now to the left of the house, I'm not 100% sure on this, but if you really slow down the trailer, it kind of looks like the Buried Maze. And obviously this map is going to be a mashup of a ton of remakes. We've got maps such as Nacta Untown, Verrucht, Origins, Mob of the Dead, Returning, and many others shown within the trailer. And sort of to the left, it does look like the maze from Buried, but I could be wrong there. That would just be absolutely awesome if that maze is returning. It would be very similar to on Buried, where obviously we had the witch's house, or the ghost, or whatever you want to call them, and now we've obviously got the house, the special house, and then we've got this maze to the left. Whether that is the same maze from Buried, I really aren't sure. Now in this shot, I can't see any gobblegums whatsoever. Usually we have a gobblegum in the spawn, although we didn't within Shadows of Evil, so I'm wondering whether there will be a gobblegum in the spawn of this map. It could just be out of sight. This spawn looks really big, to be honest. Now the next shot that we see is of the Primis statues, and they've obviously gotten the Origins rings all over them, and they've obviously got the Black Sun logos on their chest. Now this image that we see here sort of reminds me of Buried, where you were able to break the wells and then you could fall down. What if in order to get down into this area we have to break something from that entrance above? I'm really not sure, but this area seems like it's going to be very important. Obviously Primis are going to be an important aspect of this map. Whether we actually play as Primis or not, I really aren't sure, as we obviously are going to be playing as the Origins characters. It's possible within the Easter egg we may transition into Primis. We really aren't sure. Now this next shot we get to see a look at Nacta Untown, but now they've made a couple changes to it. The first obvious change that they've made to Nacta Untown is now Juggernog is available at the top of the stairs, and they've obviously also changed the writing to now say knowledge itself is for the taking, and it used to say ascend into darkness. And this knowledge itself is for the taking was written on Kino, that's where it originated from, but now it's written on Nacta Untown instead. Now I'm not sure where Nacta Untown is going to be positioned on this map, because obviously there's going to be a ton of remade sections on this map. I think it's going to be set near the house, just because that's what it looked like from the intro cutscene that we got for Revelations. It seemed to be by the house, but I really aren't sure. Now the next shot that we see is indeed of the keeper statues within the Undercroft section of the Eisendrache, and we see a zombie actually come down from one of those keeper statues, which is very interesting. And we can see from this section here that it's a ton more destroyed from Der Eisendrache. We can see a ton of rocks floating about now, and we can't see it from this shot, but where the MPD teleports within the Der Eisendrache Easter egg, that seems to be very destroyed. We can see the walls are all destroyed, and the roof is destroyed as well, so you can see up into the sky. I don't know why, but I think this section is going to be very, very important within this map, because within the Easter egg within Der Eisendrache, that's obviously where we had to bring the corrupted keeper, and then obviously we fought it within the boss arena. And keepers are going to be a massive influence of this map, as the apothecans are most likely going to corrupt the keepers as well. The keepers are probably going to be corrupted by the dark ether, which seems to be the orbs that we see around the map. We see red ones, we see blue ones. I would assume one's the dark ether, one's the light ether. I would assume that the apothecans are trying to take hold of both of them so that they can become the ultimate rulers of the universe. And obviously the keepers probably get corrupted from the dark ether, and they start transitioning into apothecans, which we see later on within the trailer. As the trailer progresses, we get to see this massive beacon where we see this massive orb of electricity, which is a red orb in this case. Now there's probably going to be multiple coloured orbs. We've obviously seen a blue and a red one. I wonder whether we'll see some other colours as well. A lot of people have been thinking that these orbs probably have something to do with the origin staffs, as we'll most likely be getting these staffs returning within this map. They're obviously not going to be the origin staffs, but they're going to be the original staffs instead of the recreations that we got within Origins. And this area seems to be located right by Der Eisendrache. Now, an interesting thing is that we see on the walls these massive roots that are growing up, that are sort of glowing turquoise, and this is very reminiscent of the Demon Within mission within the campaign. Now, if you didn't know, there is direct links between the campaign and between zombies for the very first time, really. Within the hatchery that we teleport to within Garod Krovi is exactly the same house which we fight zombies within the Demon Within mission, and within this mission there are once again these roots, and that mission takes place in the frozen forest. So there's definitely direct ties between the campaign and obviously zombies, as Jason Blundell is the director of both of them. And I think that the frozen forest and this area, it seems like we're in the forest right now within this map, I would assume, which seems to be the ether, and we obviously see these roots once again. This is very interesting, and I'm not sure what to make of this. Now, also in the back by this massive orb generator type thing, we also see some sort of weird generator just to the right. Not sure what that generator is. It does look like the generators from Origins, but not exactly. It kind of looks like the ones that we saw within Exo Zombies as well. So again, a lot of people think we're going to have to charge these orbs of some kind, and a lot of people think that they're going to have something to do with these staffs. Maybe by each of these at the center we'll be able to get a staff or upgrade one. Now, as we transition further into the trailer, we see some very interesting things. First of all, coming from that orb are giant bolts of electricity just striking the ground. I would assume that these are going to be able to hit the zombies as well as the players, and they will probably damage and electrocute them. Maybe it works somewhat similar to the death ray that we saw within Der Eisendrache. That's a strong possibility. In fact, the death ray is returning on this map as well, as we saw within the intro cutscene in the background of Nacht der Untoten, so maybe there's other sections returning from Der Eisendrache as well. Now, this section that we see here is again by Der Eisendrache, and we get to see a map right there, which I'm going to go more in depth about, because that's in regards to the origin staffs, and I'm going to delve into that later on within this video. Now, we see these weird lava looking objects in each of the four corners of this area, and that seems to be where the orbs are striking, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. And then in the center we see some sort of apothecant ritual table, so yes, rituals are most likely going to be returning on this map. Maybe that's how we get ourselves the apothecant servant, maybe that's how we get ourselves the staffs, or maybe that's how we go ahead and get ourselves the swords. The swords very well could be returning on this map. It is a strong possibility, as obviously how we got the upgraded swords within Shadows of Evil was we obviously had to help the keepers, and we had to kill the Margwas that would spawn in and fight off against us, and there obviously are Margwas on this map, which I'm going to show you later on within this trailer. So I'm really not sure what these rituals are going to be for. There's multiple endless possibilities. Now, another possibility for what these ritual tables are in fact intended for is these may be where we have to place our our gate worms that we have received for completing the 4 other DLC Easter eggs. That could very well be the case. Maybe there'll be one of these tables in each of the 4 different sections of the map, and these could be for the gate worms. We really won't know until the map's released. Now here we get a shot of the Origins trenches. Yes, a section from Origins is going to be on this map, and this is where we see something interesting. In the background of this image right here, we either see a Hell's Retriever fly by in the background, or it could possibly be the upgraded sword from Shadows of Evil. Now the reason why I say it could be the upgraded sword and not the Hell's Retriever is because later on within the trailer we see the Ragnarok DG4s, so it's possible there's going to be a ton of specialists returning on this map and not just one specialist, as I doubt we'll just be having the DG4s. And obviously when you upgraded these swords within Shadows of Evil, as he said, you were working for the Keepers, as he was saying earlier, and to upgrade it you had to fend off the Apothicons, aka the Margwas, which are going to be returning on this map, and most likely within the Easter egg on this map we're going to be trying to defeat the Apothicons that have been unleashed by the Shadow Man, and in defeating them we may have to grant ourselves and upgrade ourselves these swords, or it may in fact just be the Hell's Retriever, as obviously parts from Mob of the Dead are going to be remade on this map. Now as we progress further into the trailer we get to see Mob of the Dead actually in action, and it seems to be the whole section of the cell block area of the map, which is very cool indeed. But the thing is, with it being the whole cell block section, it's very possible that we may be able to access the right of the map up these stairs where we can access one of the Cerberus heads, and that could be in fact how we get this Hell's Retriever if it's going to be available on this map. Now the next shot that shows up in the trailer, we get to see a very nice shot of the red orb within the sky. Seems like there's going to be a dark ether and a light ether on this map, but for some weird reason we see yellow-eyed zombies as well as red-eyed zombies, and what I think is going on here is I think the red-eyed zombies are controlled by Dr. Monty as they become red within Gorod Krovi. And then obviously the Apothicon Overlords have now been unleashed on this map, and I think they're trying to seize control of the zombies, and that's why some of them now have yellow eyes. There seems to be a lot more zombies with red eyes than yellow eyes, which is why I think the yellow ones are the ones which are Apothicon. Now I think the yellow-eyed zombies are controlled by the Apothicons, and I think this because on Shadows of Evil the zombies have yellow eyes, and we're under the impression that they are indeed controlled by the Apothicons. So it's possible throughout the Black Ops 3 zombie storyline, the Apothicons have been controlling the zombies, but as soon as Dr. Monty steps in within Gorod Krovi, that's where he seizes back control. But the thing is, what's weird about this is why were the yellow eyes for both when Maxis as well as Samantha are in control? Well, a lot of people have been thinking that maybe, just maybe, they are Keepers. This would make complete sense. They're trying to restore balance in the world along with Dr. Monty, just like the Keepers are. What if they are indeed Keepers? Now, Keepers are in fact the original form of Apothicons, and then the Apothicons evolved from the Keepers, so it's possible that they would have the same coloured eyes, but I honestly cannot say for definite. It wouldn't make much sense really, because Dr. Monty is trying to restore balance as well, and he's created this perfect world, and it would be logical for him to be a Keeper as well, so why would they be red? I really don't know. And why are the eyes red within Mob of the Dead? I'm confident the yellow eyes symbolize Apothicons though, and red symbolizes Dr. Monty, but I don't know why they are yellow when Maxis and or Samantha are in control. The eye color means nothing at this moment, but I'm sure it'll be explained once this map is indeed released. Now the next shot that shows up, we get to see an absolutely brilliant image of this beacon right here, and there's just electricity spinning all over the place, and then we get to see the Revelations logo. The weird thing about this is I believe this is in the same position where we see the Pack-a-Punch later on within this trailer, but the Pack-a-Punch is not there, so maybe the Pack-a-Punch maybe have to spawn in the Pack-a-Punch, or maybe that giant Apothicon that flies in, which we see later on, may be able to remove the Pack-a-Punch, or maybe it has random spawn locations or something like that. Now we also see some chunks of Element 115 floating in the sky, and then we get to see a really up close shot of this beacon, and it seems to shoot out an absolutely ton of fire. Now the thing is, this shot right here, it looks very similar to the fire staff from Origins, which again leads back to this speculation that we will be getting the staffs returning within this map, or maybe it is indeed just coming from that beacon. I'm not entirely sure. Next up, we get to see the Vesper in action, and we are indeed in Shangri-La right now. I'm so glad that they're bringing it back, and then we can see that cube right over there in the corner. Then we get to see Zed Zetsubo-no-shima. Yes, Zetsubo-no-shima seems to be returning on this map, a section of it at least, as we can see the test subjects by Division 9 being held in those chambers. Then we get to see another look of this beacon right here. Then we get to see another absolutely fantastic shot of Shangri-La, and we get to see right there seems to be some sort of objects on the floor. I don't believe that was originally there within Shangri-La, and fire is coming out of it. And then we get to see the big dragon-like statue right there from the original Shangri-La. Honestly, it doesn't look as good as the original Shangri-La just because it's not daytime, so it doesn't really have that atmosphere. Then we get to see a look of Mob of the Dead, I believe. Then it transitions over to Verrucht. Yes, that's right, we get to see the Verrucht drawings on the wall. They're finally returning. Maybe we'll get some more explanations as to what this means. So there is going to be a section of Verrucht returning on this map. Then we get to see a look at the Mob of the Dead cell chambers once again. More shots from Mob of the Dead here. Then it transitions over to a shot of the little Annies, which are going to be returning on this map, which makes complete sense as obviously the Apothecans have been unleashed and the little Annies are indeed Apothecans. Then we get to see an electric trap. Then we get to see the character shoot the Banshee. So that's going to be a brand new weapon that's going to be returning from multiplayer. Then we get to see a shot here, which I think is from Mob of the Dead. Then we get to see an absolutely fantastic shot of the Kino de Toten stage. We get to see the teleporter to the left, and then we get to see where the turret was originally positioned on Kino, but I don't think there's a turret there anymore, and they've changed the box locations as well. We get to see a mannequin there as well, and there's also a cutout of the 4 Primis characters holding the staffs, which just suggests that we may indeed be getting them on this map as well, and we may indeed turn it into Primis during the Easter egg. There also seems to be a crack at the front of the stage. Maybe we can get under this stage in this remastered version of Kino de Toten, and it seems like the children have been reenacting the great battle, the great Apothecan battle between the Keepers, Primis, and the Apothecans. They were probably reenacting it at this stage right here. Then we get to see an absolutely fantastic shot of the Apothecan servants again in Kino de Toten. I'm so glad that this gun is going to be returning on this map. In fact, it's just been confirmed that the Thunder Gun's going to be returning on this map as well. Then we get to see the brand new boss on this map, and I think what this boss is it's in the transition stage between being a Keeper and being an Apothecan, because if you look at its facial structure and its arms, it's very reminiscent to that of a Keeper, but it just doesn't have its cloak on, because we do know that Apothecans have indeed originated from Keepers. The Keepers became corrupted by the Dark Ether and they turned into Apothecans. So I think this is a Keeper in the transition stage between a Keeper and an Apothecan. Most likely the Keepers will be helping us on this map to defend off the Apothecans and stop them from invading the universes, as they seem to be taking over all of the ether, and probably some of them have become corrupted along the way. Next up, we get to see an actual corrupted Keeper before it's gone into its full stage between being an Apothecan, and there is an Apothecan symbol on its forefront. Then we get to see a look into Eisendrache, where we do see a purple Magua, just like the purple Magua seen on the Shadows of Evil Easter egg, and it's most likely been infused with element 115, and it's being controlled by the Shadow Man, although it already is an Apothecan. Then we get to see a nice shot of the characters there. Then we get to see another one of these Apothecan ritual sites right in the center. Not sure what they're for, as he said earlier. Maybe they're for us getting the staffs, maybe they're for us getting the Apothecan servant, maybe they're for the swords, maybe they're for the Hell's Retriever, maybe they're where we place the gateworms, maybe they're for the staffs. I'm really not sure. Then we get a look again into Eisendrache. As you can see, it's just absolutely destroyed now, and the rocket shield is going to be returning on this map. I wonder if you can get all the different types of shields on this map. I think that would be a great possibility. It would make sense maybe within each different section of the map. For example, in the Mob of the Dead section, you might be able to get the Mob of the Dead shield. In the Zetsubo section, you could get the Zetsubo shield. In the Eisendrache section, you may be able to get the rocket shield. That could be a possibility. Now right here, we get to see a map on this wall, and as I said, I was going to talk about this earlier, and I'm going to show a recreation of this map that has been made by a guy over on Reddit, and I will leave a link to the original Reddit post down in this video's description. But as you can see, this is a recreation of this map, and it has the 4 different sections of the map. It has the church, the pyramid, the house, and also the beacon. Now I would assume there's a ritual site in each of these areas, and there's probably going to be different coloured orbs in each of these areas as well. And what I would assume is that we're going to have to do something in each of these areas. And as you can see in the centre of this image, it seems like they are indeed the 4 origin staffs. Now obviously they're not going to be the origin staffs, as they were just recreations, but it would be the original ones that Primis used. Now there's some debate going around whether these are the 4 origin staffs, because they could indeed be gateworms instead. We really don't know for definite, but a lot of people do think we're going to be able able to get these staffs on this map, and these maps around the map are going to be helping us in order to get them. Maybe in each different section of the map we get each different staff, or maybe in each different section of the map we have to place a different gate worm. I really don't know, but you can leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I definitely think the staffs are going to be available on this map in some way, shape or form. Then we get to see a look of the Ragnarok DG4s, but before I show that, we get to see another look of one of these Apothecon ritual sites. But the thing is, right above this door right here, we get to see something that looks like the Shadows of Evil mystery box, but instead of it glowing green, it's glowing purple. But obviously it's above a door, so it's not a mystery box, but it's definitely some sort of weird Apothecon thing. So obviously we then get to see the Ragnaroks in action. They work just the same as the Ragnaroks within the Eisendrache. I wonder whether we'll be able to upgrade them this time. I definitely think this won't be the only specialist on this map. I think there's going to be a ton of specialists returning, maybe all the specialists. That would be absolutely awesome. And there's probably going to be some new specialists available on this map as well. And I think this section of the map from the Eisendrache is going to be very, very important. As he said, it's located right by the beacon, and we can see all of these roots coming up from the ground as well, as we are indeed set in the forest. And then we just get a really, really good look over this area right here. It's just absolutely destroyed now, and there's a ton of fire going around. You can see it's just absolute havoc. Then we can see a crawler of one of these keeper slash Apothecon creatures. They seem to shoot some sort of fire at us. They don't seem to be too difficult based off of the trailer, but they look pretty scary. Obviously the Margwars are going to be on this map as well, but personally I don't think the Margwar is going to be the main boss. I think they're just going to spawn in when you're doing these rituals, just like on Shadows of Evil. That's my own personal opinion. Then we get a very, very good look at just the forest right here. We can see all of the Apothecons just flying in the sky. Then we get to see this weird yellow stuff in the background, which reminds me of the original bow before you upgrade it within the Eisendrache. So maybe the bows are going to be back. Maybe we'll be getting all of the wonder weapons. I'm not sure. Then we get to see this blue orb on the floor. Not sure what that's all about. Then we get to see an Apothecon creature just going past us in the background. We get to see a shot once again in this area. Then we get to see this huge Apothecon creature fly over into where the Pack-a-Punch is located. And there's a Gobblegum location right here. There's also what I think it's the Shiva on the wall. It could be the HVK as well. And we get to see another one of these beacons, but this one's blue. And then this Apothecon creature flies in and just absolutely destroys the place. So yeah, that's pretty much been my full breakdown of this trailer. Obviously, we've gotten other trailers as well, so there's a lot more stuff that's shown within those trailers. Within this trailer we saw Kino the Totem, we saw Mob of the Dead, we saw Verrucht, we saw Origins, we saw Zetsubo no Shima, we saw the Eisendrache, we saw Shangri-La, and there could have been other maps shown there as well that I just didn't spot. Personally, I think maybe this map is going to include every single map. That's my own personal opinion, but I just don't think they've had the time to show it all within just one trailer. And as I said, I think they're going to be bringing back all of the wonder weapons and specialists, if not all of them, a lot of them. That's just my own personal opinion, as we do know the Thunder Gun's coming back, we do know that the Apothecon Servant's coming back, and it's highly likely that we will also be seeing the return of the Origin Staffs. So anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Black Ops 3 Zombies news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye. Are you guys interested in getting free COD points for 100% free supply drops and or liquid Davidium? Well, have I got news for you. There's going to be a link down in this video's description where you can download a 100% free app. Upon downloading this app, you can then install apps via this app, as well as sharing the app with your friends to build up a ton of points, which can then be used to get 100% free Xbox One, PS4, as well as Steam cards, which can then be used to get 100% free COD points and or DLC. Hopefully this helps.